If you lose 10% in the market, do you even know how much you need to earn to get back to where you were? Losing in the market is a lot bigger of a deal than you think. Hey guys, it's Chris from the Hidden Reserve. Today's video, I'm going to be talking about market losses. Most of us don't really think how market losses affect our portfolio overall. I mean, obviously we know that it has a negative effect on it, but we're going to look into the math of what actually happens when you have market losses in your portfolio and how much you actually need to gain just to get back to where you were. And we're going to run through a few different scenarios too that factor in drawing income from your portfolio while also in a market loss and how to prevent it. We're going to dive into all of that in today's video. So first thing I just want to go over is, a lot of us are just like, oh, we market loss, no big deal. We'll just wait for the market to recover and we'll be good, which, there is truth to that. But the thing that we don't really think about is, and we don't have control over, is market timing and what we call sequence of returns risk, which is, okay, when I go to retire, when is the market going to be up or down? We don't know the answer to that. And for people who retired in 2008, 2020, that was a horrible time to retire. And it's so important to have strategies layered into your retirement portfolio, or your retirement plan rather, that mitigates what we're about to talk about. But yeah, you gotta think, none of us have a crystal ball to know, oh, okay, when we retire, the market's going to be up, or the market's gonna stay up during our retirement. Obviously, that's not how it works. So we need to hedge against that happening, because it will happen, and none of us know when. So I just wanted to go through that first, just to get things started. But what I want to go into next is the actual math of the losses. And for the example, we're going to assume a $1 million retirement portfolio, just to keep it simple. So I have it down on my screen here, but I'm just going to read off to you guys the math of the losses. So if you had $1 million portfolio, and I'm going to have you think a little bit on this one. If you have $1 million portfolio and you lose 10%, which would be losing 100 grand, you're down to $900,000. How much would you need to gain just to get back to $1 million? I'm gonna pause for a couple seconds, just think, and put the answer to that in the comments below. Well, while you're doing that, the answer is you would need to earn roughly 11.1% on your money just to get back to where you were, $1 million. And the reasoning behind that is, just think about it logically. When you lose 10%, to get back to where you were, you have to earn interest on a smaller bucket of money. You're no longer earning interest on $1 million, you're earning interest on 900 grand. So that's why it has to be more to get back to where you were. So $900,000, you'd have to earn approximately 11.1% to get back to $1 million. Now, if you lose 20%, so you go from $1 million to $800,000, you're gonna have to earn approximately 25% to get back to $1 million. So 800 grand, 25% you need to see in returns just to get back to where you were. If you have a 30% loss, your million's gonna go down to 700,000, and to get back to $1 million, you're gonna have to earn approximately 42.9% to get back to $1 million. If you lose 40%, you'd be down to $600,000, and you'd have to earn approximately 66.7% to get back to $1 million. And if you lose 50%, if you drop all the way down to $500,000, you're gonna have to earn 100%, essentially double your portfolio, to get back to $1 million. So that just gives you an idea of how significant market losses really can be, especially during your retirement. And with those numbers I just provided there, that's not factoring in you drawing income from your portfolio during a down year. So let's just say, luck of the draw, you go to retire sometime in the future and your portfolio drops 20% from $1 million to 800 grand like we covered. If you now need to draw, let's say you're following the 4% rule, which is, if you're not familiar with that, it's essentially 4% of your portfolio, if inflation adjusted, you can safely withdraw each year and you shouldn't run out of money. So if you're drawing 4% on $1 million, like that was your retirement plan, that would be $40,000. And then all of a sudden the market drops 20%, your portfolio's down to 800, and you still need to get that $40,000 worth of income that you were planning. Now to get that $40,000 income, let me do it real quick. That would now be a 5% withdrawal rate instead of a 4% to get that same $40,000 worth of income, which could drastically impact your retirement. And that, that's the power, or that's the importance of being aware of market losses and also still needing to take income from your portfolio during those market losses. It can have a drastic impact on you having enough money to live your retirement. And something just to be aware of, and we'll talk about it more, is the strategies to mitigate this from happening, or to rather allowing your portfolio time to have some breathing room, to recover, to get back where it needs to be before you start drawing income from it again. And that's something that we have to plan for ahead of time, and we don't want to be scrambling during retirement to try to figure this out. So the next thing I want to go over is actually the strategy behind how do we mitigate what we call sequence of returns risk, market timing, like we covered earlier. And it's by simply layering in guaranteed strategies to your retirement portfolio. So by having guarantees in your portfolio, then you don't have to really worry about this at all. And I'm going to break that down. So let's say your retirement portfolio, that $1 million, we'll use the same number. Let's say that's made up of your 401k, IRA, 401k and an IRA. That makes up your $1 million. That's fine, no issues there. But what else could we layer in that can help that portfolio sustain itself when and if the market drops? And that really looks like two different things. So the first thing could be whole life insurance. Second thing could be some sort of annuity. Number one, we'll break down the whole life insurance policy. Where this comes into play during retirement is it can act as what we call a volatility buffer or a backstop to your retirement. So essentially the idea is with the whole life insurance policy, you build up a cash value in the policy. That's money you can access at any point in time. You get a guaranteed rate of return on your cash value that's not tied to the market. So if the whole stock market plummets, real estate plummets, wherever you have your retirement, your whole life insurance policy is still going to grow no matter what. So you get a guaranteed rate of return, usually like 3%. And then on top of that, if you're with a mutual insurance carrier, they're going to pay you dividends as well on top of the guaranteed rate. So you might be earning around 4% after fees. Your net return might be around 4% in these policies. But the way to look at it is it's a safe bucket of money that's guaranteed to grow, that's not tied to the market, that you can access during market downturns to help supplement your retirement income. So to simplify it and tie it all together, market drops, instead of drawing income, instead of drawing that $40,000 from your market-based retirement accounts, your 401k, your IRA, leave those alone, go over to your whole life insurance policy and use the money inside of there while the market's down. And that makes such a big impact on your overall retirement if you don't have to touch your market-based investments while they're down. Just give them time to recover, tap into the whole life in this case, pay yourself the $40,000 of income or whatever the amount is that you need for retirement, and just utilize that for a period of time. And then once the markets recover and your portfolio is back to where it needs to be for you to draw income from that, then you can just make that switch then. But that's just going to allow you to continue to live the retirement you want to live without impacting your overall retirement, and especially increasing longevity risk, which is essentially how long is this actually going to last for you? How long is your money going to last? And again, I'm going to emphasize this, when you draw income from your portfolio while it's down, you're just increasing the odds that you're going to run out of money during your retirement. And obviously, no one wants that to happen. So whole life insurance is a volatility buffer or a backstop to your retirement, is extremely effective. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is utilizing an annuity. So annuity is different than whole life, but essentially where this comes to play is you're guaranteeing yourself an income stream. So an annuity simplified, essentially you're exchanging a lump sum of money to an insurance carrier, and in turn they're going to guarantee you a paycheck or an income stream for the rest of your life, for as long as you live. And that amount's going to look different for everyone. But let's just say, and I'm not saying to do this, but for the example, let's say you put $1 million into an annuity, you might have a guaranteed payout factor of 6% on that, which would be essentially saying, the insurance carrier is saying to you, hey, you gave us $1 million, we're going to turn around and guarantee you an income stream of $60,000 a year for the rest of your life. That's essentially what that's saying. And you can modify the numbers for your situation, but essentially once that's locked in, you're guaranteed to get that for the rest of your life. And this is a great hedge against the market-based in retirement accounts, because if they're down and you have this annuity payment, fantastic. You're getting a guaranteed income stream, again, completely independent of the markets. It does not matter if the markets are doing well with an annuity. You're going to get your paycheck in the mail. So that's another thing to layer into your retirement portfolio that can create this very stable foundation. So if you've got your annuities, you know you're going to get income in from that. You've got Social Security as well, you're going to get income from that. And then if you have your whole life insurance policy as a volatility buffer, that's another thing that can help while your market-based investments are down. So having those three things in tandem can give your retirement just a really solid foundation. And then when the markets are doing well and you have those things as well, you have your annuity, your Social Security, your whole life insurance policy, that's only going to make your retirement that much better. So that's really what I wanted to cover in today's video, is just explaining and just showing you the math behind how dramatic and detrimental market losses can be. And especially as you enter retirement and you don't have as much time on your side, it's not like, yeah, I'm just going to ride these market losses out. It's like, well, yes, but if you were planning to retire and draw X amount of income from your portfolio each year, and as soon as you go into retirement or very shortly into it, the markets are down and the bucket of money that you projected to have is sliced in half or sliced by 20%, even 10%, you're going to have to make some big adjustments in terms of how much income you can take from that to live your lifestyle and do what you need to do. So that's really what I wanted to do in this video, is bring awareness to this and also share with you some strategies that you can look into to help mitigate a lot of those key risks. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a like on the video, share it, subscribe to the channel if you have it. And if you do have any questions on this stuff, leave them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. Also, in the description of the video, if you want to book a call, I have a link there for you. You can book a call with me and we can look at your actual numbers and figure out what type of strategy might work best for you. And also in the description, I have two links. One's for business owners, one's for non-business owners. If you want a custom blueprint around your retirement, you can fill out there's a short survey you can fill out in the description. Find the right link for you. Again, business owners, there's one, non-business owners, there's another. Click the link, fill out the survey. Within 72 hours, I'll build you a custom plan for you and I'll send that over to you. But again, if you found this helpful, like and share, comment if you have any questions, and I will catch you in the next video. God bless.